James Gunn gives us some small little details about the DCU. I love how vocal James Gunn is when it comes to the DC universe. I truly do, because from a fan's perspective, we're always in the know and we always want to know. And I love that he's doing so many podcasts, he's talking about it. The love and appreciation for what he's establishing over, at DC Studios is truly inspiring. And I hope he continues to go down this route to be that engaging with the fans and letting the fans know what's happening with his universe. Now, he's talked about Batman and how many actors want to play Batman. And this one particular topic was really interesting to me. He pretty much clarifies and says that they're going to be focusing on major known characters rather than unknown characters, which we'll jump into. Superman, you guys, is a massive hit on HBO Max. Congrats to Superman. I mean, come on now. It's one of the biggest films of the year. Of course, it was going to pull in those major hit views on HBO Max. He also confirms a particular character from Creature Commandos will be coming to the live action soon. We're going to be jumping into it, talking about it. I can't wait. I'm stoked. So, first topic of the video. James Gunn says they might focus on DC movies being about major known characters rather than unknowns. I'm probably not going to do certain movies with characters who audiences don't know. It's harder to get people in the theater for that kind of thing. And he's right. Especially in 2025, to risk and gamble on doing characters who aren't that known to the public and the audience, the general audience, is hard. I mean, we are in a very different time. Look at the Thunderbolts. People didn't know who the Thunderbolts were. The Thunderbolts were ultimately. Ended up making a small amount of money at the box office, but it was a great film. They couldn't get asses in seats for the Thunderbolts because of the characters. Nobody knew them. Nobody's attached to watching those Disney Plus Marvel shows, which majority of those characters came from. That's an issue. Trying to adapt unknown characters for the big screen is problematic. And I hate to say it because you want to try something new. You want to be refreshing. You don't want to always rehash the same old characters that studios have been doing for the last 20 to 30 to 40 years. And I understand the frustration. You want something new. You want something hype, like especially with all these characters who come out recently. It's exciting to see some of these characters get to be made on live screen, live action, during big blockbuster films. It's awesome. Mr. Terrific is a prime example. Like, not a well-known character, but he was a fan favorite in Superman. So maybe you try that route. You adapt characters first in other big blockbuster films that are massive IPs and big names, and then you branch off for those characters just to get them well-known or, established in that particular project. I think that's a good idea, but let's look at the movies and TV stuff that James Gunn has for DC Studios right now. So TV shows, you have Peacemaker, not a well-known character, but he first made his introduction in the Suicide Squad. Was a fan favorite, got his own series. Lanterns, Green Lanterns are popular. They're all known. People know about the Green Lanterns. John Stewart, Hal Jordan, you name it, but they decided to do a series for that. And then you have Creature Commandos. That's an animated series. Not many people knew about the Creature Commandos. Waller, that's, been in development for quite some time. That's a series. I wouldn't do a Waller film. Booster Gold, he's well known to the DC comic lore and fandom, but outside of that, not really. Paradise Lost, story about Wonder Woman. That's a series that's still, I don't know, it may be early developments. We haven't heard much about that. And then you jump over to the movies. You have Superman. Obviously a massive IP and big. Supergirl directly ties into Superman. People know Supergirl, the costume, the S, the symbol, you name it. And you have Man of Tomorrow, which was announced a couple of weeks ago, the sequel to Superman. Clayface, a film he greenlit because he loved Mike Flanagan's script. A well-known DC character within the Batman universe. Does everybody know about Clayface? No, which I'm really interested in, why James Gunn decided to do this particular live action for a film. He just said he's trying to focus on major characters other than unknown characters. So kind of contradicting yourself, but Clayface is a character that Batman fans have been wanting live action for years. The only problem is we've always gotten Batman live action in a more realistic tone. So you're not going to get a massive glob of clay, in your films. But now you're doing something that's so drastically different. You can do the fantastical elements and supernatural stuff within Batman Brave and the Bold and the DCU. Now that brings up an opportunity to do these particular villains for Batman. So I think it's going to work. And, he's not worried about it. He talked about the leaks and the set photos. He's like, look, I'm not worried about it whatsoever. Apparently the studio or, some of the creatives behind that team were like, they were worried. It's like, should we just do visual effects, on his face? And he was like, why would you guys waste hundreds of thousands of dollars on visual effects and not do it practical where it absolutely looks so much better? I'm like, thank you, James Gunn. You understand the assignment. Oh, I appreciate James Gunn so much. And then you have Batman Brave and the Bold. Everybody knows Batman. You have The Authority. That's been in early development for the longest time, since the announcement of DC Studios. Characters who aren't well known. Yeah, you had the Engineer and Superman, but that's it. They're struggling with that script, and I don't think that The Authority is ever going to come out. So, characters who aren't relatively known. And then you have Swamp Thing. Swamp Thing wouldn't say he's not well known, but he's known, but he's not like a massive DC character. I would love to see, what's his name? Oh my God. Mike Mangold? Something. James Mangold, the director of Logan. He's been attached to that since day one. Vincent D'Onofrio, Kingpin from the Daredevil series, is petitioning for a part as Swamp Thing. I think that would be a massive hit. So Swamp Thing, I think you would have to do a live action film, and I'm down. Wonder Woman is in early development, a well-known character. The dynamic duo, that's going to be like stop motion animation. Sergeant Rock. I'm sorry, axe that project as soon as you can. Not a well-known character. People are not going to be in the theaters to go watch Sergeant Rock. I am sorry, that is just the facts, you guys. It's not happening. Absolutely not. And then the rumored films like Teen Titans or, the Bane and Deathstroke. Teen Titans are well-known, so to do a film makes sense. The Bane and Deathstroke, absolutely well-known characters. I mean, Bane was in Batman and Robin. Bane was in The Dark Knight Rises. Everybody loves some Bane. And you throw in Deathstroke. We got teased with Deathstroke in the DCU, and that was devastating that we never got to see Joe Manganiello in full costume going full Deathstroke. We saw him in costume, but he wasn't going full Deathstroke. So I am down for that. But like I said, it's gonna be hard. And making comic book movies in 2025 and beyond is incredibly. You have to be detail oriented. You have to know the audience. You have to know the infrastructure. You have to know what's going to work and what's not going to work. So I commend James Gunn for wanting to stick to these major, well-known characters instead of trying to adapt characters who aren't relatively known to the general audience, because you want to make a profit. You want to make some money for your studio. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. But you also want to put out new, refreshing, and fun, and entertaining, and great stories when it comes to your universe. But next topic, you guys. James Gunn, who was asked about the DCU Batman and if the character will be in his mid to late 30s, because Batman Brave and the Bold kind of deals with him being a father with Damian Wayne. So obviously he's going to have to be an older Batman, but is that still the case? Is Batman Brave and the Bold still the title? We don't know. This is what he had to say. Wait to see the movie. Some things have changed. Plenty of things are in flux on what his situation is with his parents, his parentage, and all of that stuff. First off, I can tell you the amount of big actors that have told me they want to play Batman. I think you have a harder time finding actors who don't want to play Batman. Apparently, a lot of big name actors have contacted DC Studios and James Gunn for an audition, a chance to play the next Batman. And I get it. Batman's big. You want to be in the conversation of a Michael Keaton, of a Christian Bale, a Ben Affleck, a Robert Pattinson. Everybody wants to put their hands in the cookie jar. And I understand it. It's freaking Batman. It's Batman. Alan Richardson has come out and stated that he's talked to James Gunn. And he talked to James Gunn about Batman. But he doesn't think that his opportunity as Batman will come. But there's another character who he could potentially play. Or the fan casting of the world right now, Brandon Sklenar. Everybody wants to see him as Batman. James Gunn's heard everybody. So that could be a real possibility. Maybe they should cast a much smaller, unknown actor to play Batman. You have Robert Pattinson, who's doing a wonderful job, and you got to compete with that monster in that universe. Good freaking luck. But also, moving on to the next topic, you guys, James Gunn confirms that G.I. Robot is coming into live action, and not necessarily in Peacemaker Season 2. Why not? It's set up perfectly. Earth X with a bunch of freaking neo-Nazis. Oh, look, I was so scared for Leota. When she was running at the end of that episode, they were like, black. I was like, one got loose. I was like, oh shit, girl, run. This would be a perfect opportunity to introduce G.I. Robot, who is known for killing Nazis, you guys. But damn, what a great series for Peacemaker, you guys. I'm super stoked. These next couple of episodes of Blue Dragon and Keith, Peacemaker's brother, it's going to get absolutely batshit crazy, and I am there for it. And also, James Gunn says that he has major plans for Mr. Terrific. Whatever that may be, whatever it is, I am down. I didn't know Mr. Terrific before Superman, though I did hear about him. But after Superman, I'm like, give me anything with Mr. Terrific. Absolutely. Love what he did. Love what he established with the character in Superman. And I can't wait to see what more we can do with that particular character. And to close out the video, you guys, Superman is the biggest movie debuted on HBO Max since Barbie with a launch of 13 million views. It's a smash hit. It's killing it on streaming, killing it on digital, and it made over $600 million worldwide. It's already got a sequel on the way in 2 years. James Gunn is cooking in DC Studios. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about James Gunn comments about not adapting unknown characters and solely focusing on characters who are already well known. Let me know what you think about what he's speaking about with Batman and his, actors wanting to play the role. Do you guys have any fan casting who you would love to see Batman play? Would like to see an actor play Batman in the DCU? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, thank you guys for taking time in your day for watching Zero Productions. Peace.